Have you ever experienced the crushing sting of humiliation in front of everyone you work with? Imagine this. It's the company's biggest event, the launch party that everyone's been preparing for months. The room is filled with excitement, clients, investors, and your coworkers all eager to celebrate success. But suddenly the mood shifts. The CEO, someone you once admired, someone who held the power to shape your career, stands up and points at you. With a cold, harsh voice, he calls you incompetent in front of the entire crowd. The words echo through the room like a hammer striking steel. You feel your world crumble in that moment. Faces around you blur as embarrassment and shock flood your mind. The applause and laughter fade away, replaced by silence so heavy it feels like a physical weight pressing down on your chest. You want to say something, defend yourself, fight back, but the sting of betrayal is overwhelming. You realize this isn't just about your performance, it's about someone else's fear of being exposed. The CEO is using you as a scapegoat to hide his own mistakes and corruption. In that moment, you have a choice. Will you let this public disgrace define you? Will you let anger or despair consume you? Or will you find a way to turn this nightmare into your greatest victory? This is not just a story about being fired. It's about resilience, intelligence, and justice. The person in this story, facing humiliation worse than most could imagine, chose a path many would never consider. They stayed calm, collected, and sharp. Instead of reacting emotionally, they gathered evidence, uncovered secrets, and used truth as their weapon. Their final contribution wasn't just a quiet exit, it was a move so powerful it triggered a full federal investigation, shaking the very foundation of the company and bringing the CEO to justice. This video will show you how humiliation and defeat can be transformed into strength and triumph. It will teach you how to control your reaction when the world tries to break you, and how to fight back not with anger but with strategy and integrity. If you've ever been underestimated, mistreated, or thrown away like you were nothing, this story is for you. Stay with me until the end, because the lesson here isn't just about one person's comeback. It's about how anyone, including you, can rise from the ashes of failure to claim their power and rewrite their destiny. Imagine standing there at the center of attention, expecting celebration, but instead feeling the cold, sharp sting of betrayal. The CEO, the person who was supposed to lead, inspire, and protect the team, points his finger at you and declares you incompetent. The words hang in the air like a verdict from a judge. In that instant, your heart sinks. You feel exposed, vulnerable. Your colleagues' eyes fixate on you not with sympathy but with awkward silence or even judgment. You see the flicker of doubt in their gaze. The room feels smaller, heavier. Your voice catches in your throat. What's worse is the timing during a launch party. A moment that should have been about success and teamwork turns into a public execution of your reputation. Why would a CEO do this? Because he's scared. Scared that you know too much, scared that you might expose the truth, scared that his empire might crumble. This isn't just a firing, it's a warning to everyone watching. It's a show of power and control, but underneath it all, it's a desperate act of weakness. The CEO uses you as a shield, a scapegoat, to deflect blame from his own corrupt actions. You, however, are not blind to this. The humiliation cuts deep, but so does the clarity. You realize that the attack is not personal, it's tactical. It's designed to silence you and anyone else who might threaten the status quo. And in that moment, you face a choice. Do you retreat into shame, letting this define your future? Or do you stand firm, using the very act of betrayal as fuel for your next move? This is where many would falter, overwhelmed by emotion, ready to lash out or disappear. But the strongest take a different path. They take the pain, the embarrassment, and turn it into focus and strength. Because sometimes the darkest moments reveal the brightest truths. You don't just get fired, you get a front row seat to the corruption and deception that nearly destroyed everything. And that's your chance to fight back smarter, not harder. When you're publicly humiliated, your first instinct might be to fight back loudly, to shout, to defend yourself, or even to lash out emotionally. It's natural, our brains are wired to respond quickly to threats with fight or flight. But reacting impulsively in moments like these often does more harm than good. Think about it, shouting back at a CEO in front of hundreds of people might feel satisfying in the moment, but it rarely changes the outcome in your favor. It feeds into the drama, escalates conflict, and can damage your professional reputation permanently. True power comes from something far less obvious: restraint. Choosing to stay calm in the eye of the storm isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of control. It shows you are thinking long-term and aren't letting momentary pain derail your vision. When the employee was fired and called incompetent, they didn't react publicly. Instead, they retreated to a quiet place where they could collect their thoughts and plan their next moves carefully. This kind of strategic thinking is what separates those who fall apart from those who rise. It means understanding that every word you say and every action you take in such a situation can either help you or hurt you down the road. Instead of reacting emotionally, they started gathering evidence. Emails, financial records, suspicious transactions, they documented everything meticulously. This is the mindset of a detective, not a victim. They knew that facts and proof would speak louder than any emotional outburst. And when you build a case with clear, undeniable evidence, you don't just prove your innocence, you expose the real wrongdoers. This requires patience and discipline. It means sitting with discomfort and resisting the urge to respond impulsively. It means seeing the bigger picture beyond the immediate humiliation and focusing on justice and truth. This is a skill everyone can learn. In fact, it's essential for surviving and thriving in any toxic environment. If you find yourself in a similar situation, whether it's at work, in relationships, or even in social circles, remember, your best move is often to stay silent, observe, and prepare. Reacting with anger or frustration might feel good momentarily, but it rarely leads to lasting solutions. By holding back, you maintain your dignity and control the narrative. And eventually, you get to decide how the story ends. Now let me introduce you to Sarah, a real person whose story perfectly illustrates the power of restraint and strategic thinking. Sarah was a talented software developer at a fast-growing tech startup. She loved her job and believed in the company's mission. But beneath the surface, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. During her time there, Sarah noticed strange behaviors from the CEO, late nights at the office, with no clear reason, secretive meetings, and financial discrepancies that didn't add up. She felt uneasy, but wasn't sure what was really going on. Then came the launch party, the moment she dreaded. The CEO publicly fired Sarah, accusing her of being incompetent, embarrassing her in front of the entire staff and important clients. Many would have broken down or fought back, but Sarah chose a different path. She stayed calm and didn't engage in public arguments. Instead, she focused on what she knew: the irregularities she had quietly documented over months. After leaving, Sarah didn't disappear. She contacted the FBI anonymously, providing emails, financial records, and detailed notes of suspicious transactions. What happened next was monumental. The FBI launched an investigation that uncovered a massive fraud scheme. The CEO had been embezzling company funds, hiding money in offshore accounts, and falsifying financial statements. He was arrested, and the company faced heavy penalties. Sarah's bravery and calm intelligence turned what could have been a humiliating defeat into a triumph for justice. Her story shows that when faced with injustice, you don't have to fight with fists or words. You can fight with facts, and facts have the power to bring down even the most powerful. Let me take you deeper into Sarah's story, because it's not just about what happened. It's about how she felt, what she thought, and the choices she made in the darkest moments. Sarah had always been proud of her work. She was a perfectionist, a problem solver, the kind of employee any startup would kill to have. But over time, she noticed subtle signs that something was off. The CEO was secretive, dismissive when asked about finances, and sometimes aggressive behind closed doors. Small red flags that she quietly noted, even if she didn't fully understand their meaning yet. Then the launch party came, a night that was supposed to celebrate months of hard work. Instead, it became her worst nightmare. The CEO's words, loud, cutting, public, echoed in her ears. "You're incompetent." She felt a shockwave of humiliation, disbelief, and anger. How could someone who claimed to value her work do this? Yet in that moment of pain, Sarah made a choice. She refused to let the humiliation break her. Instead of yelling back, crying, or storming out, she stayed composed. She knew that reacting emotionally could play into the CEO's hands. She focused on what she could control: the facts. After leaving, Sarah spent days and nights going through everything she had saved: emails, invoices, transaction reports. Piece by piece, she pieced together a disturbing picture of fraud and embezzlement. But Sarah didn't just want revenge, she wanted justice. She knew going public could risk her safety and reputation. So she chose to reach out to the FBI anonymously, sharing her evidence carefully and methodically. This decision was brave, it was risky, but it was the turning point. The FBI investigation blew the case wide open. The CEO's empire crumbled under the weight of irrefutable evidence. He was arrested and charged with multiple crimes. Sarah's quiet resilience and careful strategy not only cleared her name, but helped protect the company's future and the jobs of her former colleagues. Her story teaches us something vital. When you are thrown into the fire of public disgrace, you can either be consumed by it, or you can use it to forge something stronger. Sarah chose strength, and strength comes from truth, courage, and above all, patience. Being publicly humiliated is one of the most intense emotional experiences a person can go through. It strikes at the core of our identity and social belonging. To understand why this hurts so much, we need to look at what happens inside our brains and hearts when it occurs. When you are shamed or embarrassed in front of others, your brain's alarm system called the amygdala goes into overdrive. The amygdala is responsible for processing fear and threat signals. It triggers what's known as the fight-flight or freeze response. Your heart races, adrenaline floods your system, and your focus narrows sharply to the source of the threat. This reaction is ancient and designed to protect you from immediate danger. But in situations like being publicly shamed at work, this instinctual response can work against you. Why? Because the situation isn't physical danger but social danger, a threat to your reputation and belonging. The pain you feel is real, but it's not physical. It's social pain which activates the same areas of the brain as physical pain. This explains why public humiliation can feel so unbearable. You might want to fight back aggressively, run away, or freeze and say nothing. All are natural responses. However, if you let the amygdala control your reactions, you risk making impulsive decisions, shouting back, quitting in anger, or acting destructively that harm your long-term interests. This is where the prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, comes into play. The prefrontal cortex helps you regulate emotions, make thoughtful decisions, and plan complex strategies. The key to overcoming public humiliation is activating this part of your brain. How? Take deep, slow breaths to calm your nervous system. Pause before responding. Give yourself time to think. Remind yourself this moment doesn't define you. Focus on facts and evidence instead of emotions. Seek support from trusted friends or mentors who can help ground you. By shifting from an emotional, reactive mindset to a rational, strategic one, you reclaim control. You don't just survive humiliation, you use it as a catalyst for growth and empowerment. This neurological battle explains why restraint and strategy are powerful tools in crises. Understanding your brain's responses allows you to master them rather than be mastered by them. And mastering your mind in moments of crisis is what turns victims into victors. When someone wrongs you, especially in a public, humiliating way, it's natural for anger and the desire for revenge to rise up inside you. Revenge feels satisfying. It promises immediate gratification, a sense of getting even. You might imagine exposing their faults, sabotaging their work, or hitting back hard with words or actions. But here's the harsh truth: revenge rarely leads to real peace or victory. Why? Because revenge is fueled by emotion, mostly anger, bitterness, and sometimes hatred. These emotions are powerful, but volatile. They cloud judgment, escalate conflict, and can trap you in a cycle of negativity that's hard to escape. More importantly, revenge often damages your own reputation and future opportunities. When you lash out publicly, you risk being seen as unprofessional, vindictive, or unstable. Justice, on the other hand, is different. Justice is rooted in truth, fairness, and long-term thinking. It's not about reacting impulsively, but about carefully building a case and seeking accountability through proper channels. When you pursue justice, you maintain your integrity. You don't stoop to the level of those who wronged you. You become the person who stands for what's right, who fights corruption and injustice with facts and evidence. This approach commands respect, even from people who might not agree with you. It also has lasting effects. While revenge can feel like a fleeting win, justice creates real change. It holds wrongdoers accountable, deters future misconduct, and can even lead to reforms that protect others. Remember Sarah's story? Her calm, anonymous tip to the FBI didn't just get her former CEO arrested. It safeguarded the company's future and exposed systemic fraud. Justice transforms pain into purpose. It turns personal defeat into collective victory. This doesn't mean justice is easy or fast. It requires patience, courage, and sometimes sacrifice. But it always leaves you stronger. And in the end, justice is the true power that no one can take away from you. Facing public humiliation or unfair dismissal can feel like a devastating blow to your career and self-esteem. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, confused, or even powerless. But the truth is, you have more control than you think. By taking deliberate, strategic steps, you can protect yourself legally, emotionally, and professionally, and turn this setback into an opportunity for growth. 1. Stay calm and avoid immediate reactions. The moment you are humiliated or fired publicly, your emotions will surge: anger, embarrassment, fear. It's natural to want to defend yourself right away or react impulsively. However, these reactions often backfire. Yelling, crying, or posting angry messages on social media can damage your professional reputation and close doors you want to keep open. Instead, take a deep breath, step away if possible, and allow yourself time to process the situation clearly. Remember, your calmness in this moment is your first form of power. 2. Document everything meticulously. Start collecting all relevant information that could support your case. Save emails, text messages, performance reviews, contracts, and any communications related to your work or the circumstances leading up to your dismissal. If you notice suspicious activities like financial irregularities or unethical behavior, document these carefully with dates and details. This evidence will be invaluable if you decide to challenge your dismissal legally or report wrongdoing. 3. Understand your rights and seek legal advice. Take the time to research your legal rights in your country or region. Employment laws often protect workers from unfair dismissal, discrimination, or retaliation, especially whistleblowers who expose fraud or illegal activities. Consulting a qualified employment lawyer early can help you understand your options, the strength of your case, and the best steps to take next. A lawyer can also help you gather evidence properly and guide you through potential legal proceedings. 4. Consider whistleblower protections and reporting channels. If you have evidence of illegal or unethical behavior, explore whistleblower protection laws and confidential reporting mechanisms. Many countries have hotlines or agencies where you can anonymously report fraud, harassment, or corruption. Using these channels can protect you from retaliation while ensuring that the wrongdoers are held accountable. 5. Build a support network. Emotional resilience is critical. Facing public disgrace alone can be isolating and mentally draining. Reach out to trusted friends, family members, mentors, or professional counselors who can provide support advice and perspective. Sharing your experience helps reduce stress and keeps you grounded during turbulent times. 6. Plan your next steps. Strategically. After taking the initial protective actions, focus on your future. Whether that means seeking a new job, furthering your education, starting a business, or simply taking time to heal, create a clear plan. Set achievable goals and take consistent action towards them. Remember, one setback doesn't define your entire career or worth. Use this experience as a catalyst for growth and transformation. What this story really teaches us goes beyond just surviving a public firing or exposing corruption. It's about something much deeper: personal growth and resilience. When you face a moment designed to break you, like public humiliation or unfair dismissal, it's natural to feel crushed. But resilience isn't about ignoring your pain or pretending everything is okay. It's about acknowledging your hurt, accepting the reality, and choosing to move forward anyway. Resilience means growing stronger through adversity. It's a process of transformation that refines your character, sharpens your wisdom, and deepens your courage. In the story we've explored, the person fired didn't just bounce back. They used the pain and injustice as fuel to rise higher than ever before. This transformation requires mindset shifts from victimhood to empowerment. Instead of seeing yourself as a powerless victim, start recognizing the control you still have over your choices, actions, and attitude. From reaction to response. Instead of reacting impulsively out of anger or fear, learn to respond thoughtfully and strategically. From isolation to connection, seek support and build relationships that strengthen you rather than pushing people away in your pain. Growth also means embracing discomfort. The path to resilience isn't smooth. It's full of setbacks, doubts, and fears. But every challenge you face is an opportunity to learn and evolve. Remember, resilience is not a fixed trait. It's a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. And personal growth is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. When you master resilience, you not only survive crisis, you transcend it. You become someone who can face any challenge with calm confidence and unwavering strength. That is the true victory. If a CEO can publicly call you incompetent and fire you in front of everyone, what does that really say? It says more about their own fears and weaknesses than about you. True power and dignity aren't given by others, they come from within. They come from how you choose to respond when faced with injustice and humiliation. The story we've explored today shows that your worst moments don't have to be your end. In fact, they can be the beginning of your greatest triumphs. Humiliation can either crush you or become the catalyst for your comeback. The key is to keep your integrity intact, to stay calm, and to use strategic thinking over emotional reactions. Remember, your worth isn't determined by the words or actions of others. It's defined by your own actions and mindset. You have the power to turn betrayal into justice, pain into strength, and defeat into victory. So when life throws you into the fire, don't let it burn you down. Let it forge you into something stronger. You are more resilient, more powerful, and more capable than you realize. This isn't just a story about one person's fight for justice. It's a universal lesson on courage, patience, and self-mastery. Now it's your turn. Will you let the difficult moments define you, or will you rise above them and rewrite your story? The choice is yours. If this video spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share and comment below with your own experiences or thoughts. Let's build a community of strength and support. And if you want more stories and insights about overcoming adversity and mastering your mindset, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your journey to empowerment starts here. Thank you for watching. Remember, your story isn't over, it's just beginning.